We're ready, Dan.
All right, all right, all right, all right. I'm so excited. I am so excited for the last class of the Next Level Growth Academy, you guys. We are here right now. So excited. This is going to be an unbelievable class. A lot of note taking. You guys are going to have an opportunity to hear from not only a great business partner of mine for probably going close on 2 decades now, close to 20 years that I've known him, probably right around 16, 17 years to be accurate. But one of the GOATs in WFG. And if you looked at, I was thinking about this earlier today, Olson, if you looked at what he's done the last 10 years, he's broken a lot of records in WFG, and just doing some amazing things. Has one of the things that they say about leaders is that you could tell the growth of a leader by the growth of his team. And this is a guy that is extremely competitive. I've known him ever since he was in his early 20s. I've seen him through peaks and valleys. I've seen him up and down. I've seen him knocked down so many times, and he got back up and reinvented himself. And what I really admire with Eric is Eric's constantly reinventing himself and getting better and better and better. And it always amazes me when I talk to him. Sometimes you talk to people and they think they know everything. Eric's always a student. He's always learning. He's always growing. But he's also a very, very big student of the business format system. And I think in his career, he's actually gone 60 wide in 6 months. I believe twice in his career, he's personally done that. He's running one of the biggest base shops in the company. I believe his base shop is approaching 3 million points a month. That's in his base at his stage in the business right now. And this is a great family man, a great husband, great dad. I was fortunate to go to his wedding a couple years back. Went to his wedding in Cabo, and man, what a beautiful wedding. Me, Marlette, Levitan, and all the leaders were there. His entire team was there. Had an incredible fireworks show doing his wedding. So that was really, really good time. So you guys, this is note-taking time. You're hearing from a legend. You're hearing from one of the best. Those of you that follow him on Instagram, you'll see that he's always spreading good news of different people in his hierarchy, leaders that are teeing it up from $25,000 a year to $50,000 a year to millions of dollars a year. So I'm going to turn it over to Eric. I don't know if he's there if he's on right now, but let's light up Eric. Eric, first of all, I want to tell you how much I appreciate you and Sandra. Eric and Sandra right now, they're in Florida. They're house shopping in Florida. And he stopped what he was doing in Florida to be with our team for a couple of hours. So I don't take that lightly. I really, really value your time and Sandra's time. And maybe many people say that lightly, but we really value your time and everything that you do and set the example for the entire company. And I know that's a huge responsibility from a leadership standpoint. And I love the fact that you're still and always leading from the front, still recruiting, still active in the field, helping families. And one of the things that I thought about you, because I was talking to Marlette about you the other day, I think one of the biggest attributes that you have is that you really, really, really believe in your vision. And that's very, very clear. And I think that when people come around you, they know that you're extremely serious about where you're going. And you can tell by the actions that you personally take. And people really believe that you believe on where you're going. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be a business partner. and I'm excited to be a friend. And one of the things that Eric and I always say to each other, he told me that the other day, we were talking, and he said, brother, you know, I got your back. You know, I got your back. And we do that vice versa with each other. So Eric, I'm going to turn it over to you, brother. Once again, thanks a lot. And I'll be listening with a pen and a pad, man. I'll turn it over to you, brother.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan Charlier. I appreciate it. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Thumbs up. Yes. All right. Awesome. Well, it's an honor to speak to Team Synergy today on this Friday out here on the East Coast in Florida. I got the ocean right here behind me, actually. I'm in my hotel room and got the ocean right there. And it's actually some tropical rain right now going on, but exciting times. Dan, thank you so much for that introduction. I appreciate it. And I do have your back, just like I know you have mine. And by the way, that wedding that my wife and I had a couple years ago in Cabo, beautiful wedding. Do you know that Dan Charlier was the only person at that wedding that I invited that wasn't a part of my team or a part of my uplines? And that's how much I care about Dan. And we've been great friends now, as he mentioned, for over 15 years. So I hope you guys appreciate your leadership. Dan Charlier is an awesome guy, and Sophia, they're an awesome couple, great kids, and just a great businessman. So appreciate Dan very, very much. And it's an honor and a privilege to speak to your guys' organization today. I was excited to be asked to speak here, and I'm going to deliver some good information for you. So couple things I want to start with. Like Dan said, I'm very serious about my vision. I'm very serious about where I'm going, because I was taught when I started in this business, you're either serious or you're curious. And I'd much rather be serious than just curious. You know, that's number one. Number two, the more serious that you are about your business, the more serious everybody else is going to take you. And that's just how it works. And that's how it works. So I just want to challenge you to get very, very serious about your business. Because if you're not serious about your business, nobody's going to take you seriously, you know, and that's the deal. So I started this company. I was 21 years old. I'm now 38 years old. I'm getting old. I'm not old, you know, I'm only 38. However, I was always the young guy. I was always the young guy in the business, you know, started at 21. SMD at age 22, CEO at age 24, senior executive vice chairman at age 25, $1 million ring earner in my 20s, multimillionaire in my early 30s. And now I'm about to be 40. Oh my gosh, 14 months. In 14 months, I'll be 40. So I just wrote down, here's the 40 things that I'm going to accomplish before I'm 40 years old. And I just wrote that down, and it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun. Here's the 40 things I'm going to accomplish before I'm 40 years old. I'd recommend you doing something like that. The 30 things before 30, the 40 things before 40, the 50 things before 50, the 60 things before 60, the 70 things before 70, whatever it is, you know, and I just wrote that list, and it's actually pretty exciting. And I'm fired up for the future. And something that I always do, something that I live by is, because I read a book long time ago, because they say leaders are readers. Leaders are readers. And they said in this book, if you want to be successful, there's 3 things that you need to do daily. You need to make a vision board and look at your vision board every single day with the pictures of things that you want. By the way, I was looking at beach houses all day yesterday in Florida, and the same beach house we saw yesterday was very, very similar to the beach house I've had on my vision board for the last 10 years. Pretty interesting. So have a vision board and look at it every single day. That's number one. Number two, think about exactly what you want as far as your goals and dreams and what you want, and then write it down on paper, right? Write it down on paper and then look at it every single day. Do you know that most people never get what they want because they don't even know what they want? Most people don't get what they want because they don't know what they want. You got to know exactly what you want so then you can get it. Think about playing darts. You have a dart in your hand and you're focused on that target on that dart board. But if there's no dart board, there's no target, you're just throwing darts up in the air. and you have no idea where you're going. So you got to be laser focused, just like a laser or just like a dart on a dartboard, on exactly what you want. Because it's not hocus pocus, it's focus. That's what I tell our kids, right? It's not hocus pocus, it's focus. And what is focus? Follow one course until successful. So you got to be laser focused on your goals. And then last but not least is your affirmations. You got to be saying your affirmations every single day. All right. So if you're looking at your vision board and seeing the pictures, you're thinking about what you want, writing down your goals and reading your goals every day. And then you say your affirmations out loud with enthusiasm every day. I promise you, you're going to go get what you want. And I know that's weird, but that's what wealthy people do. That's what successful people do. Northern California my whole life, and I played football at San Jose State, Division I college football. I worked at the San Jose Airport in California, and guess what? I was making $28,000 a year when I started in this business. $28,000 a year. So I had to really work on myself. I had to really raise my identity. You know, I just watched a movie the other day, and it was on the plane coming over here to Florida, and the movie is called Becoming Warren Buffett. You guys should watch that movie in your free time late at night or something. Becoming Warren Buffett. It was a good movie, Becoming Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett, who's a multi-billionaire, he said, the best investment I've ever made is the investment in myself. Investing in yourself. Investing in yourself, you know, because whatever goes through you sticks to you. Simple as that, you know. And so I'm working on myself right now. You know, I just lost 130 pounds. I'm about to lose another 50 more pounds. I already worked out this morning with my wife here at the gym in the hotel, and it's not comfortable, but anything you want in your life is on the other side of I don't feel like it. Simple as that. Everything you want in your life is on the other side of your comfort zone. So you can't be comfortable. You're not going to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Simple as that. But guess what? If you try to do one uncomfortable thing every single day in your personal life and in your business, you're going to be successful, because most people don't do that. Most people don't do that. So I try to get out of my comfort zone, call someone every day that I normally wouldn't call. I try to do something personal out of my comfort zone that I normally wouldn't do every single day. Because my father, my dad, he taught me when I was a little kid. He said, boy, look at what everybody else does and do the exact opposite. And that's how you become successful. Isn't that true? It's so true. That's how entrepreneurs are. Entrepreneurs think differently. Congratulations to all of you for being in this special elite training. This is not for everybody. This is for only the serious people. These are for the people who want to change their life. And so because you chose to be an entrepreneur and be a part of this company and be a part of this elite training, you're not like everybody else. So people are going to tell you things like, oh, that's weird what you're doing. Well, guess what? You can be weird and rich, or you could be broke and cool. And I already tried the broke and cool thing. So you know what? Might as well be weird and rich. And then they're going to say things like, oh, they're trying to brainwash you over there. We're not trying to brainwash you, but you know what? You might need a little scrub. You know, because most of us, we were taught to be employees. Most of us, we were taught, we were raised to think small, to think money's the root of all evil. So we're not brainwashing anybody, but we're reprogramming. We are reprogramming to think big, to think like an entrepreneur, to think differently, you know, and that's what we got to do. So you got to reprogram yourself. So every single day, I remember when I was starting in the company, I quit everything in my entire life. I went full time in this company. I had a shot to play in the NFL. And then one of my mentors taught me the NFL stands for not for long. The average NFL player only lasts 3-4 years. And someone told me, how would you like to make NFL kind of money in this business without the concussions? I said, man, that sounds good to me. So I came in this business. I quit everything in my life. I went all in. And I started listening to audio CDs and reading books. And they said, whatever you want, you got to throw it out there like a boomerang. And people might think it's an exaggeration, but they don't know that it's your affirmation. It's just your affirmation. You're throwing it out there, throwing it out there, throwing it out there. Boom. It's going to come back to you just like it's an affirmation. So I did that. I remember starting in the company. I was young, 21 years old, no experience in business, no experience as an entrepreneur. My parents didn't have any money. I didn't have any money. I'm 100 pounds overweight. I'm playing football. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm introverted. I'm shy, and I have no market. That's how I started in the company. Single, no kids, the whole deal. But you know what? I don't know about you, but man, my whole life I wanted to be somebody. My whole life I wanted to do something big. I thought I was going to be in sports, but you know what? I made this business my sport. I made this business my sport. This is what I've decided to do. And by the way, when you play sports, you don't miss practice. So what are we doing right now? This is practice. You got to practice for the main event. So I remember I was going around field training, doing appointments, and I was 21 years old, and people would ask me like, how old are you? How old are you? And I said, well, how old is Superman? And they're like, well, I don't know how old Superman is. I go, yeah, you don't care how old Superman is. You just want him to come in and save the day. And that's what I'm here to do. Boom. And then I change the subject, right? You know, just little things like that. They're like, how old are you? I go, do you care how old I am or how much I can help you here today? Boom, right? Because I started realizing like, oh my gosh, my first 5-10 appointments, I was nervous, but then like my 20th appointment I did, no one really knew the rule of 72. No one knew about index strategies or locking in your gains or properly protecting your family or dime method and long-term care and living benefits and all these things that we teach people. A lot of them have never heard of it before. So then I started getting confident. You know, the number one characteristic of a successful person is confidence. And if you don't have confidence, at least have Godfidence, at least believe in God first, and then you could believe in yourself. But here's the deal. Dan Charlier could believe in you. You know, Paul and Miriam Ireton could believe in you. Jay and Ronnie Gutierrez could believe in you. You know, there's so many great leaders in Synergy. Christopher Schleiman can believe in you. All these amazing leaders. But guess what? If you don't believe in yourself, it doesn't even matter. You got to believe in yourself first, and then it's going to happen for you. So I remember sitting in a training and they would say things like, man, I don't really like making calls. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, me too. And they were thinking, I don't really like prospecting. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, me too. And they're like, I don't really like going on appointments. I said, oh my gosh, me too. But then they said, you know what? But I hate being broke. So I'm going to do what I need to do so I can get where I need to get. Simple as that. Temporary sacrifice for permanent gain. Bottom line, whatever it takes, WIT, whatever it takes. Because if you want to win, what is win? Whatever is necessary. That's what WIN stands for, whatever is necessary. As long as it's legal, moral, and ethical, of course, I'm going to go do whatever is necessary to go make it happen. So I want you to remember this. Whoever goes on the most appointments wins. That's the deal. Whoever goes on the most appointments wins. I'm out here in Florida and I'm still on Zoom. I've been on Zoom this morning. I was on Zoom yesterday, zooming and booming. That's what we do. This is the new era. I love this new era. It's awesome. So, by the way, we didn't panic when this pandemic hit. We pivot. We didn't panic. We pivot. So I had some people on my team recently. They were like, Eric, I just haven't bought into this new Zoom thing. I just haven't bought into this online technology. I was like, man, you better hurry up and buy in because this is the way of the future. This is the way of the future, training on Zoom. So you need to buy in. You need to make it happen. So the more appointments I did, the better I got. And I want you to really do some self-evaluation. Every time you do an appointment, every time you make a phone call, every time you do a recruiting interview or fast start or field training appointment, every single time you should say what worked, what didn't work, what worked, what didn't work. How can I get better for the next time? How can I get better for the next time? Every single meeting, you should be thinking like that, because if you want to get your field training done, you got to do your 10 appointments. But if you want to become a closer, if you want to be a marketing director, you want to get your $50,000 watch, you want to be an SMD, you got to do a minimum of 50 appointments on your own to get good, in order to be a closer. And I'm not talking about a closer with an S, I'm talking about a closer with a Z. That's what I'm saying, closer, right? Not just a closer with an S, a closer with a Z. Like, you know how to close. You understand? You know how to close. Because here's the deal. We're doing good things for families. We're doing good things for people. And you should be confident with closing, because we're helping people. Simple as that. Our intentions are good. All we're trying to do is put people in a better position financially. So when I started reading these books about goals and affirmations and vision and, vision boards and all these things, I never did that growing up. My parents never did that. My parents were good people, but they never taught me that stuff. I want you to write this down. Your vision is for your team, but your goals are for yourself. Your vision is for your team, but your goals are for yourself. So you need to have a long-term vision, but short-term goals. Long-term vision, but short-term goals. That's what you should be thinking about. So I want to challenge you, have 3 short-term goals that you're going to knock out by the end of this year. 3 short-term goals you're going to knock out by the end of the year. But then your long-term vision could be the next 5 to 10 years on what you're going to do. So when I went full-time, 2004, I was 22 years old. They said, throw out your goals, throw it out. So I threw it out like a boomerang. I said, man, with what I got lined up, based on my business plan, looks like I'll make $250,000 my first year full-time in my business. And remember, at that time, I had made only $28,000 at my job. I had only made $8,000 in our company, WFG, part-time, spare time. I was doing terrible. I literally did everything wrong in my first year in this business, but I did do one thing right. And that one thing I did right is I didn't quit. Luckily, I didn't quit the business. So I want you to remember that. You could do everything wrong in this business, but the worst thing you could do is quit. Because they say the secret of the whole business is 3 words: join, don't quit. Join, don't quit. That's the whole secret of the business. Join and don't quit. So I started putting it out there. I'm gonna make $250,000 my first year. Every phone call, every appointment, every prospect. I'm gonna make $250,000 this year. I'll make $250,000 this year. With what I got lined up based on my business plan, I'm gonna make $250,000. I'm gonna make $250,000 my first year. I'll make $250,000 my first year. And like, after I said it 100 times, right after I said it, true story, I was thinking to myself, I ain't got nothing lined up and I haven't even wrote a business plan, right? Like, I was like, how the heck is this going to happen? Because my identity wasn't there. I didn't even believe it, but I just kept working. I kept getting after it. I kept making it happen, prospecting, appointments, phone calls, prospecting, phone calls, appointments. What I did is I did something called 5-5-50. I want you to write that down. 5-5-50, 5-5-50. By the way, I appreciate your guys' your comments on the chat. I'm watching the chat, so I appreciate the positive comments. I like that Bible verse, Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision, make the plan. Good job, Sherry Gibson. I like that. That's solid. So here's the deal. You got to throw it out there like a boomerang. You got to throw it out there. And it doesn't even matter if nobody else believes it. Doesn't matter if nobody else believes it. You got to believe it. Some people might think it's an exaggeration. They don't know it's your affirmation. So what I did is I did 5-5-50, 5-5-50, 5 prospects per day, 5 appointments per day, and 50 calls a day. That's what I did. 5-5-50, 5-5-50, 5-5-50, 5 prospects a day, 5 appointments a day, 50 calls a day. Because if you do enough activity, guess what? You're going to get the results that you want. Simple as that. I want you to write this down. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. That's the deal. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I'm not the most talented guy in the world, but I'm about to cross over $7 million a year this month. I'm at 6.9 million right now. I'll be at $7 million by the end of the month. And I'm not the most talented guy in the world, but you know what? I wake up early. I go to bed late. I get after it. I'm doing the things that I'm telling you to do. Dan Charlier is my friend. If I were to say he's my best friend in WFG outside of my team, I'm not kidding. We're very close. So here's the deal. I'm going to treat you like you're my team. If you do this stuff, you're going to get success. And that's all I want for you. I want you to be I want you to be successful. Do you know the most important letter in the word success is you? The most important letter in that word success is you. Simple as that. It's on you. You know the most important letter in the word momentum is you. Momentum is magic, but momentum starts with you. Simple as that. So you got to do this stuff. You got to do this stuff. So I didn't even believe it. But if I just put in the work, I put in the work, I threw it out there, and then eventually it came back to me like a boomerang. And guess what happened? I made exactly $251,000 my first 12 months full time, 22 years old. And then I recruited my mom, and then I recruited Paul Hart, and then I recruited all these people, and it was just awesome. And you guys know success is relative. The more success you have, the more relatives show up out of nowhere. You didn't even know they were relatives, but all of a sudden now they're your relatives. So here's the deal. I was just thinking to myself, I'm not going to give my family my money, but I'll show them how to make it. So I recruited my mom, my Uncle Chip, my cousin Michael, my brother-in-law, my sister, like all the people I cared about. I started recruiting them because I wanted to give them an opportunity to make a lot of money. I had a deal with my mom because my mom was in her 50s and I was in my early 20s. And I told my mom, if you refer me some people from church and you refer me to some of your ladies at your little vitamin company, man, I'll set you up, Mom. I'll hook you up. So she started referring me some older people to get into the older market. And I helped my mom get to SMD. And when I recruited my Uncle Chip Pallid, who's now an executive vice chairman, I put him on my mom's team. And then when I recruited my cousin Michael Ternowski, who's now a CEO out of Florida, I put him on my mom's team. And we recruited Alex and Stephanie Haynes. They're on my mom's team. We recruited Matthew Welsh. They're on my mom's team. You guys hear some of these names? You know some of these names? They're all on my mom's team. So my mom worked with me for 3 years, referred me people, hit SMD, got her $100,000 ring, and then she's like, I'm out. And she retired. Her and my dad bought a big old house in Oregon with some land. My mom has not done this business in 13 years. She's been retired in her late 50s and early 60s for the last 13 years, and my mom just got her $250,000 ring in retirement. Is that awesome? In retirement. She's making $250,000 a year in retirement, $20,000 to $25,000 a month. She just texted me the other day, me and your dad are in Alaska. I just bought a fur coat. They're living their best life. They're getting paid every Tuesday, every Friday, every Tuesday, every Friday, every Tuesday, every Friday. Isn't that awesome? That's your future. By the way, who would like to do something like that for their mom or their dad or their husband or their wife or their son or their daughter or their grandparents or their uncle? That's what I'm talking about. That's what you could do. It's pretty awesome. So I love our business. Absolutely love our business. And then I was just thinking to myself, man, if this worked for $250,000 a year, what if it worked for $1 million a year? So then I start throwing it out there. I'm gonna make $1 million a year in my 20s. I'm gonna make $1 million a year in my 20s. I'm gonna make $1 million a year in my 20s. I'm gonna become a millionaire in my 20s. I threw it out there. Everyone was laughing. Ha, ha, ha. You're not gonna do that. You work at the San Jose airport. Your parents didn't have any money. You didn't have any money. You're young. I failed my tests like 7 different times. Life and health test, Series 6, Series 63. I failed all my tests 7 different times. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but here's the deal. It's not how many times you get knocked down that matters. It's how many times you get back up that matters. And here's the deal. I know some of you are mentally tough. You can get back up, but I just want to challenge you. When you get knocked down, get back up fast. Get back up fast. Like, don't wait 3 months to get back up. Don't wait 30 days to get back up. Get knocked down and get back up fast. Like Dan Charlier mentioned, I've been knocked down a bunch, but I get right back up. And when I get back up, I come back bigger, better, faster, stronger. And that's what I'm talking about. And that's what I want to challenge you. You know, Mike Tyson has a famous quote, and that quote is, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Would you agree? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. So here's the deal. You got to get punched in the face and keep getting back up bigger, better, faster. And that's called mental toughness. And that's probably one of my biggest strengths is my mental toughness. So I threw out that boomerang, that affirmation. I'm going to make $1 million a year in my 20s. Boom. 25 years old, got my $1 million ring. And then I was thinking, if this works, man, this affirmation goal vision board thing, this works. Because I thought it was weird. When I first started, I'm a football player. I think I'm too cool for school. I'm 6'5". I thought it was cool. They were whoosh, boom, whoosh, boom. I go, that's weird, whoosh, boom. And then they started telling me you can make $1 million a year in this company. I go, shoot, I'll whoosh, shoot, I'll boom, right? Whatever I got to do, let's make it happen, right? So then I threw out there, I want to make $1 million a month in my 30s. I want to make $1 million a month in my 30s. I want to make $1 million a month in my 30s. Everyone was laughing. Everyone was like, yeah, right. And then guess what happened? 4 years ago, I was 34 years old. Boom. I made $1 million in 1 month in my 30s. So now here's my affirmation I tell myself every day now. Ready? Before I'm 40 years old, I'm going to run $100 million per year business, 9-figure business. I'm going to make an 8-figure income, 10 million a year or more before I'm 40. And I develop a bunch of 7-figure earners. And that's what I tell myself. By the way, when I started saying that, which was about a year ago, my team was at 40 million points per year net. Now we're at 70 million points per year net. I was only making probably 3-4 million a year. Now we're making 7 million a year. And I only had $1 million earner. I just promoted now my 6th $1 million earner now in my team. Dr. Martin Quende just hit it last cycle. So this goals, affirmation, vision board stuff, you can literally will it to happen. You can will it to happen. So every day I run a 9-figure per year business, $100 million a year or more. I make an 8-figure income, 10 million a year more, and I develop 7-figure earners. 9 figures, 8 figures, 7 figures. Are you thinking like that? Are you thinking about running a 9-figure business? You should. Are you thinking about making an 8-figure income? You should. Are you thinking about developing 7-figure earners? You should. Or are you still thinking 5 figures? Are you still thinking 6 figures? That's the job mentality. This is WFG. This is the best business platform in the world. I've been recruiting a bunch of NFL players, NBA players, business owners. A lot of successful people are a part of my organization, and I sell them a big dream. I sell them a huge, huge dream, and then I bring it down to their comfort level. Does that make sense? Sell a big dream and then bring it down to their comfort level. So that's how I wanted to start here with you today. I have a PowerPoint that my awesome assistant put together, Miss Erica. Erica, if you can share the screen, and we'll go ahead and start this PowerPoint, and we'll go ahead and get rolling, and we'll go ahead and get started. I just want you to know that that we believe in power couples. You know, like Dan and Sophia Charlier are a power couple. Miriam and Paul Ireton are a power couple. Christopher and Michelle Schleiman. There's so many power couples. Jay and Ronnie Gutierrez. So many power couples. Joseph and Batshava. Obviously, Natalie and Ryan Plant. Dr. Edward Burns. Peter and Jane. Stanyan. I mean, just so many champions. I know Dr. Edward Burns is not a power couple yet, but you know, he's going to be. But there's a bunch of leaders. There's a bunch of leaders in Synergy that are power couples, which is awesome. So my wife and I, by the way, my wife Sandra is on a Zoom in the other room, in this hotel room. We have a presidential suite. It's a 3-bedroom, and she's in one of the rooms. I'm in one of the rooms. We're both on Zoom. She's on Zoom with my staff, making sure all the business is being pushed through, because it's November to remember, right? It's November to remember. So she's pushing stuff through, and then I'm here with you, which is awesome. So that's called a power couple. Power couple, right? All right, next slide. By the way, this is when I started, 21 years old. San Jose State, California football. Who would have thought a guy like that would have now made, I've made over $50 million in this company so far. 50 million bucks. Can you believe that? You put down $100, your little AMA fee, and you make $50 million back in net profit. Approximately, that's what I've made. Is that a pretty good return on your investment? Are you kidding me? Wow, that's your future. Some of you should be wearing sunglasses right now because your future's so bright. You realize that? All right, next slide. So when I started, I was coaching my little brother in baseball. That's me, the tall coach right there. And I was coaching my little brother in baseball, which is, he's right in front of me. And it's pretty crazy. I got a call as I was coaching baseball, and I was coaching third base for my little brother's team. And I got a call saying, hey, I heard you're the captain of your football team in college. Yes. I heard you're a baseball coach. Yes. I heard you're ambitious and money motivated. Yes. Well, there's this business presentation meeting going on in 1 hour at my office in San Jose, California, and I want to invite you. And I was like, I don't know anything about finance. I'm 21 years old. He said, well, you can make 6 figures your first year part-time and we'll train you from A to Z. I said, give me the address. Give me the address, right? So that was me coaching baseball, 21 years old, my little brother's team. And now I joined WFG. Pretty crazy. All right, next slide. So this is where it started. By the way, look at us. That's Paul Hart, Juan Jaime, Mario Bayona, Randy Sicaidos, Eric Carter, Anthony Resendez. I don't know if you guys know those guys or seen them or heard of them, but they've all made millions of dollars. Every single one of them have made millions of dollars in this business. We all started when we were 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, not the sharpest knives in the drawer, but you know what? You can't measure the heart of a champion just by looking at them. You don't know what's inside. Look at my little clip-on tie right there with my tongue sticking out. Man, what a dork. But hey, it's all good. You can't judge a book by its cover. You can't judge a book by its cover. That's where it all started. That's where it all started. All right, next slide. So this is my first year income. Look at this. A lot of people are like, Eric Olson came out of nowhere and he was a millionaire 5 minutes later. Not true. I only made $8,000 my first year. Isn't that terrible? Most of you guys beat my record. I only made $8,000 my first year. I did everything wrong, but I did one thing right. And that one thing right was I never, ever, ever quit. Ever quit. By the way, I look at the Leaders Bulletin. I am a student of the Leaders Bulletin. I'm always looking at the numbers. So Dan Charlier can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, because I wrote down a couple names of people I think are going to be SMDs very, very soon in Team Synergy. People like Jonathan Poole. I think Jonathan Poole is going to be an SMD in the next month or two. People like Pavi Bramson. Pavi, that lady's sharp. I think she'll be SMD very soon. How about Denise Berry? Denise Berry, she's close. How about Tanisha LaFay? I think Tanisha's close to SMD. How about Christine Smith? I mean, these are some power champions that are just about to be SMD. I might have forgot a couple of you, but I was looking at the Leaders Bulletin. These are people recruiting, producing, making money, getting after it, snapping necks and cashing checks, making it happen. Next SMDs, boom, right? So, hey, some of you, you might have thought I forgot you, like Nicholas Lynch. All right, Nicholas. All right, I see you. Pavi and Denise. All right, Tanisha. Okay, so, hey, sometimes the best recognition is no recognition. Would you agree? Sometimes the best recognition is no recognition. That's just kind of how it works. Nikki and Kermit Cannon. I know Nikki Cannon about to get her $500,000 ring. That's exciting, right? There's a bunch of champions in this team. But look at that. What if you were me and made $8,000 your first year? A lot of you guys beat my little record, right? Absolutely. All right, next slide. Look at this stud right here. That's me and my boy right there. Don't we kind of look alike? We both got the number 1. We're both looking sharp as a steak knife. That was me speaking at Dan Charlier's team, his Wealth Bowl. He spoke at my team event. I spoke at his team event. Man, we've been good friends for a long, long time. I appreciate that guy. Hey, because, you know, lately I've been coming up fast. I've been doing well. I've been blessed. And a lot of people are hating on me. You guys probably already know. This is the higher version of training. There's a lot of haters out there. But guess what? My haters became my motivators. But you know something about Dan Charlier? He's never been a hater. I've never hated on him. He's never hated on me. He's always encouraged me. I've always encouraged him. And I appreciate that about him because there's a lot of haters out there. Oh, Eric's probably doing this. Oh, Eric's probably doing this. No, fool, you're not working. That's why you're not working, right? You know what I mean? So anyways, that's the deal. But I appreciate Dan Charlier because he's always had my back and I always had his back. All right. Next slide. Next slide. All right. So you got to keep it simple. You got to keep it simple. You guys have an amazing fast start system. This is my fast start system. You recruit them. You make them a client. You meet their top 3. One's going to join the team. You repeat the process because you guys have all heard 10, 6, 3, 1. 10, 6, 3, 1. If I talk to 10 people, 6 people will tell me that they'll meet with me. They'll confirm they'll meet with me. 3 people then actually meet with me. And then 1 person joins my team. 10, 6, 3, 1. 10, 6, 3, 1. So you recruit them, make them a client, go see their top 3. One's going to join your team. Repeat the process. Recruit them, make them a client, go see their top 3. 1 will join the team. Repeat the process. It's that simple. That's what I've been doing for 17 years. One joined the team, repeated the process, boom. Recruited Juan Jaime, made him a client, got his list, when saw his top 3, 1 joined the team, repeat the process. I mean, that's the deal. So keep it simple. You guys know the KISS method, keep it simple, silly. It's the KISS method, keep it simple, silly. You guys got it, all right? By the way, I'm in a hotel and my internet is not the best in the world, so you know, I am watching your faces though. I see Paula Whitehead and she's smiling, she's fired up. So Paula, thank you for that. But you know, I think we'll be good. 99% of it, you'll be able to hear. Maybe 1% it'll freeze, but you guys will be good. All right. You guys good again? All right. Everybody's good. All right. Good. I appreciate that. By the way, I appreciate when you guys, because I can see your faces, by the way. I can see Shannon Cook. I can see Jack Santiago. I can see Marley, Dean, Margaret, Pat, Paula, Zoe, Myra, bunch of champions on this. Denise Berry. All right, good. So that's the fast start. What are you supposed to do? Recruit, fast start, field train. Recruit, fast start, field train. Recruit, fast start, field train. Okay. Another way to say that, if you can't remember recruit, fast start, field train, is join, own, share. Join, own, share. Join the company, own the product, share the good news with other people. Join the company, own the product, share the good news with other people. Keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. All right, next slide. So you live, you learn, and you upgrade. You live, you learn, and you upgrade. By the way, as of right now, you're an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurs, it's okay to make a mistake as an entrepreneur. Just try not to make the same mistake twice. You guys got me? It's okay to make a mistake. Just try not to make the same mistake twice. You live, you learn, you upgrade. Okay, next slide. So who would have thought that football player guy would now be speaking in front of 30,000 people at conventions? I had to upgrade myself. I had to grow my identity. Man, I miss conventions. Don't you guys miss conventions? Even though this Zoom thing is cool, man, I miss conventions, right? One day you will be speaking at convention. You just got to upgrade yourself. You got to become the best version of yourself. Do you know that you're good enough? You just got to become the best version of yourself. What I always think about is don't worry about the rest. Just try to become my own personal best. If you just work on yourself and become your own personal best, That's all that matters, because you're good enough. You have what it takes. Here's what I'll tell you. The good news is you have what it takes to be successful in this business. If Dan Charlier can be a millionaire, you could be a millionaire. If Eric Olson could be a millionaire, you could be a millionaire. You have what it takes to be successful in this business. That's the good news. The bad news is it's going to take everything you got. You understand? If you want to be a CEO, if you want to be an executive vice chairman, if you want to be a millionaire in this company, it's going to take everything you got. Monty Holmes said, you got to leave no stone unturned. You got to leave no stone unturned. So the good news is you have what it takes to be successful. The bad news is it's going to take everything you got. Okay? Next slide. All right. So speaking of upgrading, we all got to be raising our identity. We all got to work on raising our identity. What is identity? Identity, the definition of identity is what you feel you deserve. What you feel you deserve. All right, next. Here we go. 5 ways to increase your identity. Number 1, be crystal clear on what you want to become. How are you going to get what you want if you don't even know what you want? You got to know exactly what you want. You got to know exactly where you're going, because how are people going to follow you if you don't know where you're going? You got to be crystal clear on exactly who you're going to become, what you're going to become. I want you to like envision yourself 5 years from now. You're an executive vice chairman. You're $1 million earner. You have this amazing relationship with your spouse, world-class marriage, world-class kids, great relationship with your kids. You're in the best shape of your life, amazing spiritual faith life. You just bought your dream home. You just bought your dream car. Life is good. You've made a lot of money. You've saved a lot of money. Can you picture that 5 years from now? Imagine that. It's going to happen. If you do this right, that's going to happen. So here's the secret. The secret is try to become that person right now. Don't wait 5 years from now to become that person. Try to become that person right now. And then you'll get everything you want a lot faster. Act as if. Act as if. Act as if it were impossible to fail. Because look at that word impossible. It actually says I'm possible. You guys can do this. Okay. Number 2, self-improvement, personal development. All I can tell you is what I do. Every morning I wake up and I work out for an hour. Every single night before I go to bed, I do personal development for an hour. So, because whatever goes through you sticks to you. So if you work out for an hour, exercise for an hour, do personal development for an hour, reading the right books, hanging out with the right people, listening to audio CDs, watching YouTube videos, literally 1 hour a day, you're working on yourself. 1 hour a day, you're working on your mind. You're going to be successful, because when you feel good, you do good. All right. Number 3, your mindset and your goals. Be solution driven. Allow things to affect you to force change. Think and Grow Rich. Like, are you studying these books? This business is 90% mindset and only 10% skill set. You guys know that? This business is 90% mindset and only 10% skill set. So your mentality, your mindset, you got to work on yourself. Again, personal development, your mentality is key. Associations. You got to be a student of the business. Associate yourself with people doing better than you. You should have a running mate. You should have some good associations. Why are people following Dan Charlier? Why are people following Eric Olson? Why do top leaders have big teams? You got to start studying this stuff. Be a student of the business. Isn't it interesting? A lot of you went to high school. A lot of you went to college and you studied. What about studying here? Study the great leaders, study the great ones, master your craft, read the books that we recommend, read the books on the products, read the books on our business, and you'll get good. Don't get bitter, get better, right? Don't get bitter, get better. Okay. And then number 5, physical appearance. When you look good, you feel good, you perform, try to just become the best version of yourself. And all of a sudden your identity will go up. If you feel you're going to be successful, you feel like you have what it takes, you're going to be successful. That's how it works. So please work on your identity. Please work on your identity. And all of a sudden, your income's going to go way up. And that's why I'm working on myself right now more than ever, because I have that 9-figure business goal, 8-figure income goal, 7-figure developing leaders goal. And I have to work on myself every single day to hit that goal, because I'm nowhere near where I should be to hit that goal. So that's why I'm working on myself every day. And if I'm working on myself every day, I hope you're working on yourself every day too. All right, next slide. Next slide. So we started from the bottom. Now we here. Those are those same guys. Juan Jaime, Mario Bayona, Paul Hart, looking a little bit sharper. We started out sharp as butter knives. Now we're sharp as steak knives, right? We got to work on ourselves. We had to work on our identity. That's the deal. All right, next slide. So, crusade. I want you to write this down. Every time you speak, you should have your personal story, a crusade story, and sell the dream. Sell your story, sell the crusade, sell the dream. This is the leaders here. We only have the leaders on this call. Sell your story, sell the crusade, sell the dream. Sell your story, sell the crusade, sell the dream. So, the crusade is real. You understand? The crusade is real. Okay? So let me tell you a little story. I was in my late 20s. This is about 7, 8, 9 years ago. And this lady joined me in business. She was a nice lady. She joined me in business. She's about 5 foot tall. She's about 53 years old, single lady. She had 2 kids. They were over 18. Her name was Maridel. Very nice lady. And I sat down with her and I said, Maridel, now that you just joined me in business, you got to become my client. She said, Eric, I'm divorced. I don't have a lot of money. I'm in my 50s. I don't have the best health. My kids are over 18. You know, I don't want to become a client. I said, Maridel, you cannot sell shoes barefoot. You cannot sell shoes barefoot, right? You got to practice what you preach. You got to believe in what you sell. You got to have something called moral authority. Moral authority. How are you going to talk about how the IUL is the best thing in the world if you don't even have an IUL? How are you going to talk to people about saving money if you're not even saving money? How are you going to talk to people about protecting their family, but you're not even protecting your family, right? You got to make sure that you believe in what you sell, because here's the deal. Write this down. As you believe, you will be believed. As you believe, you will be believed. As you are convinced, you will be convincing. As you are convinced, you will be convincing. That's how it works. That's how it works. So guess what? I helped her get an IUL, $400 a month, $1 million IUL. That's what we got her. $400 a month, $1 million IUL. It was a good plan for her. Okay. 3 months later, she finally gets approved. 30 days later after that, she gets diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. True story. Stage 4 cancer. She called me up. Eric, I'm in the hospital. I have stage 4 cancer. I'm in my 20s. And I just responded, you're going to be great. You're going to be fine. We're going to pray for you. Everything's going to be great. No problem. Hey, let me take care of your team. I'm going to gather your team. I'm going to help them out. And when you get out of the hospital, I'm going to make sure you become an SMD. She had only been in the company about 8 months. She had just got her policy. I said, you get better. You beat this cancer. I'm going to take care of your team. We'll do some group presentations. We'll do a bunch of field training. And when you get out of the hospital, I'm going to help you get to SMD. So we went and visited her at the hospital. Me and some of her teammates. She had like 5 or 6 teammates. We helped her out. We rallied together. We're like, let's help Maridel get to SMD. We rallied around it. Boom. We worked hard for 30 days. We did everything we possibly could. We did appointments after appointments after appointments. We did grand openings. We did everything we could. And then guess what? We just submitted everything for her SMD promotion. We were super happy. We called her up. Maridel, when you get out of the hospital, you're going to be an SMD. Congratulations. This is awesome. Your team fought for you. I fought for you. This is amazing. She said, Eric, the doctors just gave me 3 days to live. And I was like, no. She's like, yep. I was like, oh, this is terrible. We all went and said our goodbyes. We all went and said our goodbyes. She said, please tell me my 2 daughters are taken care of. I now have 2 grandchildren. Please tell me my 2 daughters and my 2 grandchildren are taken care of. I said, Maridel, they're going to be set for life. They're going to be totally set for life. She said, okay. And I had her sign her SMD promotion. And 2 days later, she passed away. She passed away. True story. So then her daughter called me, one of her daughters, Sherry Ann, and she said, hey, my mom, one of her final requests on the hospital bed was for you to go speak at her funeral. I said, why would I speak at her funeral? She said, because you were her mentor. She said, you were her business coach. You were her friend. You were her leader. And she wants you to speak at her funeral. I said, wow, okay, all right. I'll do that. So her funeral was a couple weeks later. Guess what? In one hand, I had a $1 million tax-free check at that funeral. And in the other hand, I had this big SMD plaque. Man, I just got chills. Crazy. I still remember this like it was yesterday. One hand, I had a $1 million check, tax-free. One hand, I had this SMD plaque. And one of the daughters got the $1 million check. One of the daughters got the SMD promotion. And I went and talked to both of her daughters. It was Sherry Ann and Natalie. I said, your mom loved you so much. Your mom cared about you so much. You get $1 million tax-free for you to buy a house, for you to send your little child to school, private schools. And then you get this SMD promotion, which will stay in your family forever and ever and ever. We helped her get her license. We got her coded. We got her to SMD. We transferred all her team under her. And this is literally 8-9 years later. She still gets checks. She still gets paid Tuesdays and Fridays. And her mom died 9 years ago. She's in Washington, the state of Washington. She's an SMD. She still gets residuals, renewals. She still gets checks. They got that $1 million. I spoke at the funeral, and I was just talking about the importance of what we do. The importance of what we do. So let me ask you a question. When you go to your friend's funeral, or when you go to one of your family members' funeral, or when you go to one of your teammates' funeral, who are you going to be? Which financial professional are you going to be? Are you going to be the one delivering the $1 million check? Are you going to be the one passing on that business as a legacy to their family? Or are you going to be the one that picks up some $10 flowers right before the funeral? Because I was the hero at the funeral. $1 million check in one hand, SMD promotion in the other hand, passing on the legacy, spoke at the funeral, everyone's clapping. It was me and 200 Filipino people there. It was awesome. They were all like so blessed and so grateful and so thankful. Man, by the way, I've been at funerals where I was the guy bringing the $10 flowers. And I just wished I would have gave an SMD promotion or $1 million check. But this, when I went through this, it changed my life. I went from people should probably know what we do to gosh darn it, everybody needs to know what we do, because it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. People are going to get sick or pass away or need to make more money or need living benefits or need long-term care or need life insurance. The stock market's going to crash. They're going to need guarantees. I mean, it's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So next slide. These are the checks. These are the actual checks. We shouldn't have the name on there, but yeah, these are the checks. Are you going to bring the flowers or the check? Are you going to bring the flowers or the check? Who are you going to be? Crazy. This is real. The crusade is real. The crusade is real. All right, next slide. So life insurance is like a parachute. If you don't have it the first time you need it, there's no second chance. Isn't that true? Man. Isn't it crazy people want insurance after they get diagnosed with a disease? That's not how it works. Man, I'd much rather you get it early than late. I'd much rather you get it early than late. By the way, that's one crusade story. And even though it was sad that she passed away, it was a good story how we changed that family's life, how we're able to make a difference in that family's life. Because people have two options. Are they going to leave liabilities or are they going to leave a legacy? You have two options. Are you going to leave a liability or are you going to leave a legacy, right? You got to think about that. By the way, true story. This just happened about 35 days ago. One of the ladies, my direct SMDs, she's awesome. She lives in Austin, Texas. Her and her husband are one of my power couples. They're SMDs. They're $100,000 ring earners. She just spoke at one of our events on Zoom, and she told this story, and everyone was like crying. It was crazy. So you heard one side, which is how you help a family correctly, what you're supposed to do. And then now let me tell you the other side. So my SMD, my direct SMD, her name is Jessica. She recruited this guy, 23 years old, and this guy worked with her for about 8 months in the business. And this kid never got a life insurance policy because he told her, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. So he never got a term LB or an IUL. So then Jessica went and helped this kid's mom roll over some money, do some investments, do some insurance, and did all that. So the kid quit the business. The lady became a client. The mom became a client. And then a year later, which was last month, this lady called up my SMD, Jessica. And she said, Jessica, please tell me my son had a policy. And she's like, well, who's this? Oh, this is so-and-so. You know, my son, so-and-so. She goes, oh, yeah, you're my client. She goes, please tell me my son had a policy. And she said, well, your son quit the business about 6 months ago. I don't remember if he had a policy or not. Let me go check. So she got with her staff. She went and checked. And she goes, no, yeah, your son never got a policy. Why? And she said, my son just died last night in a car accident. A drunk driver hit him. He died instantly, 24, 25 years old, young kid. And she said, yeah, I'm sorry. Your son said he couldn't afford it. And he didn't have a policy. And then the lady started yelling at my SMD on the phone. Isn't that what you do for a living? Jessica, isn't that what you do for a living? And Jessica's like, what do you mean? Isn't that aren't you, like, you're supposed to help people. Don't you get people life insurance and help people save money and protect families? How come you help me, but you didn't help my son? Isn't that what you do for a living, Jessica? Jessica burst in tears on the phone, started crying. She's like, what do you mean? How come you didn't help my son? Well, he said he couldn't afford it. Can't you get a policy for like $12 a month? He's young. Well, yeah. Isn't that what you do for a living, Jessica? You didn't do your job. And the lady's yelling at my SMD over the phone. Jessica burst down in tears like, I'm sorry. She goes, how come you didn't help my son? How come you helped me? Just because I had money? Just because my son didn't have any money? That's why you didn't help him? He could have got $12 a month policy. We don't have extra money to do his funeral and bury him and all this stuff. And she kept yelling at her. She said it 6 times. Isn't that what you do for a living? How come you didn't do your job? Crazy. True story. This happened last month. Man, let me ask you a question. What kind of call are you going to get? Are you going to get the call? Isn't that what you do for a living? What do you mean you didn't protect my husband? What do you mean you didn't protect my wife? What do you mean you didn't protect my son? What do you mean you didn't protect my daughter? Or are you going to get the phone call where you are the hero and you get to speak at the funeral and you got $1 million check in one hand and an SMD plaque in the other hand? Which call are you going to get? Because let me just tell you, you're going to get a call. One day, hopefully not soon, but one day you're going to get a call. Are you going to get the call that you helped that family out? Or are you going to get the call, someone yelling at you saying, how come you didn't help my family out? Wow, wow, wow. All right, take a deep breath. Turn to your neighbor, say, don't let that happen to us. Don't let that happen to us. Or look in the mirror, say, don't let that happen to us. Shoo. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right. Hey, what we do is real. What we do matters. The crusade is real. You understand? The crusade is real. All right, next slide. So What we stand for in my organization, Pinnacle, is the 5 F's: faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. And if we do all those 5 F's, we'll have freedom, which is ultimately what we want, is freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of income, financial independence, debt-free. That's what we want. So the 5 F's, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, the 5 F's. Okay, next slide. This is a legacy business. These are my 2 boys. These are my 2 girls. This is our family. This is our legacy. Man, I have a legacy business. Don't you want to build a legacy business? Our kids are 9, 10, 11, and 2. Little Grace, she's about to be 2. Man, when I had a little daughter, that kind of changed me a little bit. I love it. I love having a little daughter. It's amazing. All right, next slide. So let me ask you a question. Do you understand the value of mentorship? Do you understand the value of mentorship? I want you to write that down. Do you understand the value of mentorship? Who's your mentor? Who's your millionaire mentor? You got to have a mentor. If you want to go to the top, you got to have a mentor. If one day you want to be a mentor, you have to have a mentor. Some of you would say, Dan Charlier is my mentor. Well, have you asked him? Have you asked him? Because if you haven't asked him and you haven't done what you're supposed to do, he's probably not your mentor yet. What about Jay Gutierrez? Is he your mentor? Paul Ireton is your mentor? Christopher Slayman? I don't know. I don't know if they're your mentor or not, but here's the deal. I remember Juan Jaime. He asked me, he goes, hey man, like you're like my mentor, right? And I was like, no. He's like, what do you mean? I go, you never asked me. He's like, do I got to get on one knee and ask you? I said, no, but you need to ask me. This needs to be serious. This needs to be a serious thing. I remember asking Rich Stolley like 10 different times before he basically wanted to mentor me. So I hope you have a mentor. A mentor is someone who walks ahead of you to show you how they did it. A mentor walks alongside you to show you what you can do. Mentoring successful people never reach their goals alone. One of the greatest values of mentors is the ability to see ahead what others cannot see and to help them navigate a course to their destination. Think about this. Dan Charlier has been in this business 2 decades, over 20 years. He's been there, done that. He knows what to do. He knows what not to do. You got to have a mentor. You got to have a mentor. You know, that's the deal. Next slide. So Rich and Cindy Thali are our mentors. This is about a year ago when they gave us that $6 million a year plaque. I remember when I thought $6 million a year was a lot of money. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, right. Hey, did you know that every single year we went from 1 million a year to 2 million a year to 3 million a year to 4 million a year to 5 million a year to 6 million a year. Now we're crossing over 7 million a year. You know why? I have a mentor. You know why? I work hard. You know why? I give everything I got. So I asked Rich Stolley to mentor me. He said, nope, you got to do these 10 things before I'm going to mentor you. He gave me a list. You got to do 10 things before I mentor you. So when I started getting mentored by him, which is about 7 years ago, I was only making $1 million a year. And now 6 years later, we're almost at 7 million a year. The value of mentorship is priceless. The value of mentorship is priceless. I hope you have a mentor, but you got to ask them to mentor you. You got to take it serious. You got to say, what do I got to do for you to mentor me? Give me that top 10 list. What do I got to do for you to mentor me? Because mentorship is priceless. I love my mentors, Rich and Cindy Thali, the co-founders of our company. Next slide. All right. Rich and Cindy Thali, they just bought a 6,000 acre ranch. And I love them so much and I want to be around them so much. I bought a lot of land on their property. And I bought a big motor home and put it on my lot of land on my property on Rich Thali's ranch. He has 6,000 acres. I got like one little parcel, quarter acre, but hey, that's okay. I bought some land. I wanted to be close to my mentor. Simple as that. All right, next slide. So what did I say earlier? Number one characteristic of a successful person is confidence. Number one successful trait of a business person is confidence. So here's 5 ways to increase your confidence. Number one, have God as your number one business partner. Whether you believe in God or not, doesn't matter, but have faith, right? Your spiritual life, the universe, a higher calling, whatever you want to call it. But for me, I have God as my number one business partner. Think about this. You walking into an appointment, you have you, your spouse, you have God, your kids, your mentor, your leader, your SMD, WFG, Transamerica, Aegon, all these platinum providers, Transamerica, Nationwide, Pacific Life, Prudential, Athene. You have all this backup. I mean, you should not be nervous. You should not be scared. And if you're scared, go to church. If you're scared, go to church. Because what is fear? F-E-A-R, fear, false evidence appearing real. Most of the things you fear never even happen, so don't waste time worrying about it. So have God as your number one business partner. Understand your intentions are good. Your intentions are good. We're trying to help people financially. We're trying to help people make money and save money and invest their money and put their money in a better place financially. Our intentions are good. Number 3, know you're with the number one team in the company. Synergy is one of the top teams in the entire company. Number 4, bring the same characteristics that you won at before and bring it to this business. I've won at sports before. I took that competitive edge from sports. I brought into this business. Dan Charlier won in the military. He took that same discipline he had in the military. He brought it in this business. You got to do something like that, right? Whoa, that's the Florida wind behind me. It's kind of windy out here, but it's okay. So we don't panic, we pivot. We don't panic, we pivot. All right, so you got to take that same characteristics that maybe you're a great husband, you're a great wife, you're a great mom, you're a great dad. You made 6 figures before, you care about people, you're good at sports, in the military, fitness, something, the same characteristics it took you to win in other areas of your life will be the same characteristic it takes for you to win in this business. And then last but not least, proper preparation prevents poor performance. The 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. You got to prepare for your appointments. You got to prepare for your phone calls. You got to prepare for your Zooms. You got to prepare for your training, because proper preparation prevents poor performance. So I want you to have confidence knowing that if you do these 5 things, you understand these 5 things, you're going to have confidence in this business. All right, next slide. Thank you, Tanisha. Appreciate your positive words. Hey, leaders don't create followers. They create more leaders. Would you agree? If I asked you, are you a leader? You would tell me, yes, I'm a leader. And then I would say, great. How many people are following you? How many people are following you? If you're a leader, great. How many people are following you? Next slide. All right. When I was 22 years old, I went up to Monty Home. I just hit SMD. I said, Monty Home, what do I got to do? Next slide. I said, Monty Home, what do I got to do? He said, there's 2 things you got to do in this business. You got to get to SMD. You got to promote SMDs. Next slide. 2 things you got to do in this business. You got to get to SMD, promote SMDs. So guess what? I'm pleased to tell you I just promoted my 90th direct SMD last week. 90th direct SMD, not 9, 90. 90 direct SMDs. By March of 2021, the first quarter of 2021, we'll be at 100 direct SMDs, okay? By the way, those 90 SMDs I promoted, they promoted 400 SMDs of their own. So in Pinnacle, in our organization, we now have 490 SMDs. Pretty crazy, 490. My 90 SMDs promoted 400 SMDs. So we make SMD a big deal. We make SMD a big deal. We do an SMD interview. We do an SMD interview to make sure you're ready. This is a big deal. I met with them at my country club. We told them everything we expected of them, and their goal first year as an SMD to go make $500,000. And I believe that's going to happen. By the way, Jimmy Harrington, he owned a State Farm agency. And when I sat with them to recruit him, I said, where do you work? He said, I just bought a State Farm agency. I said, how much does that cost? He said, it was $100,000 to set up my State Farm agency. And I said, well, your business is captive. Our business is non-captive. Your business, you can only sell a couple products. We can sell a bunch of different products. Your company, you can only sell one company. We can sell 100 different companies. Your business is capped on the income. Our business is unlimited income. Your business, you don't have a mentor. You don't have a system. You don't have a platform. We have all of that. Your business, you have to pay your own people. Our business, WFG pays our people. He said, man, this is way better. He goes, but I just paid $100,000 for my State Farm because this is way better. What is this, like $200,000 for this business? Because it's so much better. What is it, like $200,000 to start this business? I said, man, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. It's embarrassing. It's not 100,000. It's not 200,000. It's $100. He said, what? $100? I go, yep, $100. He quit State Farm, gave up his $100,000 he just put in there, came full-time with us, MD, $50,000 watch, SMD, $100,000 ring, boom, 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 boom. Because what are you supposed to do? Two things. Get to SMD, promote SMDs. That's your job. Get to SMD, promote SMDs. Next slide. Next slide. All right. By the way, I'm liking this new Zoom era. As Dan Charlier mentioned, almost every day on my Instagram, we're having like, this guy just did this, this lady just did this, that like we're recognizing our team because we believe in EPR, encourage, praise, and recognize. Our team is exploding. Our team is on fire. By the way, in March, first week of March, we were in Hawaii. We were on the WFG Hawaii trip. Some of you guys were there. We were at 15,000 recruits and 40 million points 8 months ago. You fast forward 8 months, we're now at 70 million points per year and 25,000 recruits. Our business has exploded, exploded. Next slide. I hope your business has exploded too, because we didn't panic, we pivoted. Success without duplication is merely future failure in disguise. Wow, that's deep. Write this down. You got to learn it, teach it, master it, duplicate it. Learn it, teach it, master it, duplicate it. Learn it, teach it, master it, duplicate it. That's the name of the game. Learn it, teach it, master it, duplicate it. Learn it, teach it, master it, duplicate it. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Learn it, teach it, master it, duplicate it. Next slide. So, everybody who's not an SMD, you need to listen up. I want you to be an SMD, senior marketing director, strong marketing director, senior broker. Do you know what it means to be an SMD? SMD is a big deal. You have ownership, you're vested with the company, you're at an 80% contract with Transamerica, residual income, renewals, trails, monthly bonus pools, quarterly bonus pools. You can sell your business at a later date. You can pass this business on to your kids one day. This is a big deal to be an SMD. And I'm talking about strong marketing director, senior marketing director, not small marketing director, not struggling marketing director. I'm talking SMD, the best of the best. So with this plan, this is where I've promoted 491 SMDs. This morning, we just promoted 491. We did an SMD interview this morning with this amazing couple, number 491 today. By the way, they're already six-figure earners before we promoted them because we want them to go out strong. But here's your 3-month plan to focus, SMD plan to focus. Next 3 months. Ready? 10 and 10, 3 months in a row. 10 and 10, 3 months in a row. 10 and 10, 3 months in a row. Everything is 10. Everything is double digits. How do you hit SMD? Double digits. Double digit what? Double digit recruiting, 10 recruits a month. Double digit app count, 10 personal apps per month. Double digit cash flow, 10,000 or more per month. DDZA. You know what DDZA? Double digit Zoom attendance. Double digit Zoom attendance. So you need double digit Zoom attendance, double digit recruiting, double digit app count, double digit cash flow. Everything's double digit. Everything is 10 or more. SMD is 10 or more. That's what SMD is, 10 or more. 10 phone calls every day, 10 appointments every week, 10 prospects every week. Everything is 10. If your honey says, honey, what's for breakfast? You should say 10. Like everything's 10. What time is it? 10. Like everything's 10. Double digits, double digits, double digits. So 10 recruits and 10 sales per month, 3 months in a row. You average 3,000 points per recruit. Guess what? You're going to make $50,000 the next 3 months. You're going to go out there and recruit 30 people the next 3 months. You get 1/3 of them licensed. You got your 10 licensed agents, and you're an SMD. You're a senior broker. I run a leadership factory. Some of you guys are in financial services. I'm in leadership development. What are you in? Are you in just financial services, or are you in leadership development? Because I want you thinking big. My motto is go big or go home. So I'm not going home, so I might as well go big. I want to build and develop leaders. Think about what we do. We recruit people, we train them, we coach them, we help them, we mentor them, we develop them, we change their life. We educate them, we build them, we transform them. All for $100? What? That's crazy. This business is way too big for you to be playing small. You understand? This business is way too big for you to be playing small. This business is way too good for you to be doing 10 other things. Some of you, you're like, I do WFG, and then I sell makeup on the weekends, and I sell candles on Mondays. I sell tamales on Tuesdays. I have my job. I sell cologne on the weekends. Like, what are you doing? This business is way too good. You don't even need to do anything else. Jack of all trades or master of one. Jack of all trades or master of one. Just get good at this. This is all you need. Just get good at this. SMD, plan to focus. Every single one of you can go get this done the next 3 months. Raise your hand if you think you can get this done in the next 3 months. SMD, next 3 months, yes? All right, I believe you. Margaret, I saw your hand go up. That's awesome. So good job. So here's the deal. If you're already an SMD, you got to go promote an SMD. You're already an SMD, go promote an SMD. Like Nikki Cannon, she's already an SMD. Now she has to go promote some more SMDs, right? That's how it works. All right, Cheryl Cobb, I expect you to be an SMD. Hey, there's my friend Louise Haig right there. Louise Haig, there you are. She's such a champion. I know she's going to go promote some more SMDs too. That's awesome. All right, good. Next slide. Next slide. So when I do the SMD interview with people, I show them this should be your first 12 months. Your first 12 months as an SMD, if you just do DDR, you should be making $33,000 a month, 400 grand a year. This is just with 5 people on your team, because you got your personal production, your base shop production, the base shop monthly bonus, the base shop quarterly bonus, overrides, rings, watches, the rings, the watches, the plaques, the swords, the trips, the trophies. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. That's what an SMD should be like. All right? That's your future. That's your future right there. All right, next slide. The easiest way to get what you want is to know what you want. Be crystal clear. Sell to survive, but recruit to retire. Sell to survive, but recruit to retire. You know what I've noticed about a lot of people in WFG? You might have noticed this as well. A lot of people know how to recruit. A lot of people know how to produce, but very few know how to build. Very few know how to build. Dan Charlier knows how to build. I know how to build. Some of you know how to build, but I noticed some people know how to recruit. Some people know how to produce, but very few know how to build. All of you should be thinking, I'm going to go build something. I'm going to go build an army of licensed agents. I'm going to go build an empire. Like, you should have a hard hat on right now, a construction hard hat on, because you're going to go build something big. That's what I'm talking about. All right, next slide. Hey, there's different markets to get in: cold market, lukewarm, natural, warm, and hot. Hey, if you want to stay on fire, you got to be in the hot market. If you want to be on fire, you got to stay in the hot market. If you want to be on fire, you got to stay in the hot market. Worst case, warm market or natural market. But man, if you're stuck in the cold market for too long, you're going to freeze to death. You with me? You don't want to be freezing to death. Hey, if you want to be hot, you got to stay close to the fire. If you want to be hot, you got to stay close to the fire. Stay in the hot market. Recruit them, make them a client, go see their top 3. One joins the team, repeat the process. If your car broke down at 2 a.m, who would you call to come pick you up? That's the hot market. Next slide. So these are my 10 secrets of success. Number 1, make your haters your motivators. We talked about that. Number 2, recruiter's mentality and builder's mindset. Sell to survive, but recruit to retire. Number 3, develop your people skills. Become universally appealing. Don't just recruit people just like you. Don't you want a diverse team? That's what I love about this team. Very diverse. You should build a diverse team. Because at the end of the day, there's only one race, which is the human race. If you cut us open, we all bleed red at the end of the day. Okay? Number 4, read your goals and affirmations daily. Be laser focused on what you want. We talked about that. Number 5, play big numbers. Play big numbers, play big numbers, play big numbers. With quantity comes quality. You got to play big numbers, but you just can't recruit people and throw them up against the wall and hope they stick, right? Recruit them, train them, help them, build them, mentor them, coach them, develop them, change their life. Number 6, get the crusade in your heart. We talked about that. It should be 50% crusade and 50% dream. Write that down. 50% crusade, 50% dream. 50% crusade, 50% dream. I noticed that most people in WFG, they talk a lot about the dream, but they don't talk anything about the crusade. And I noticed some people in WFG, they talk all about the crusade, but they don't talk anything about the dream. You got to do both. You got to do both. When this business goes from your head to your heart, that's when you're going to be successful. Number 7, you got to learn how to close. You got to learn how to close, persuade, influence, sell. This is what business we're in. You got to learn how to sell. You got to learn how to close. You got to learn how to persuade. You got to learn how to influence. Remember, our intentions are good. We're doing good things for people. Write this down. You got to be sweet on the outside, but a beast on the inside. You got me? You got to be sweet on the outside, but a beast on the inside. Okay? That's a closer. That's a closer. ABC, always be closing. Believe in the company, believe in your leaders, believe in yourself. Number 8, belief, 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 belief. You got to believe. Number 9, learn how to be a great leader. Study great leaders. Write this down. Take the good and leave the bad. Take the good and leave the bad. Take the good and leave the bad. I love Rich Stolley. I love Greg Kapp. I love Monty Home. I love Ed Milet. These are all awesome guys. But here's the deal. I take the good, I leave the bad. Take the good, leave the bad. Take the good, leave the bad. With Dan Charlier, take the good, leave the bad. With Eric Olson, take the good, leave the bad. With your SMD, take the good, leave the bad. Why are we expecting a perfect leader when we're not perfect ourselves? You with me? Take the good, leave the bad. Number 10, mental toughness. You don't got to be physically tough, but you got to be mentally tough. Tough people get rich in tough times. You know what motivates me? That most people aren't tough enough to win. Most people quit. Most people don't have what it takes. Most people are mentally tough. Most people are like pansies and they fall over. Everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face. When most people get punched in the face, they quit. But that's not you, because a winner never quits and a quitter never wins. You ever meet these people? You recruit them on your team. They're like, I love this business. I love you. I love this company. I'm going to be your biggest leader ever. This is an answer to prayer. I was just praying yesterday. I love this. I'm going to be with you forever. And then 3 days later, I'm quitting. 3 days later, I'm quitting. Right? Like what? Get mentally tough. Have emotional stability. Right? All right. Those are my 10 secrets of success. All right. Next slide. Almost done. Hey, there's a journey to the top. Enjoy the journey and trust the process. Enjoy the journey, trust the process. Enjoy the journey, trust the process. Some of you are like, I'm SMD. You know there's 17 levels above SMD? Did you know that? There are 17 levels above SMD. Enjoy the journey, trust the process. Enjoy the journey, trust the process. Here's what I told myself. Non-stop to the top. Non-stop to the top. Okay? Have your long-term vision, but your short-term goals. You know, my next position is executive chairman. They're going to give me $1 million bonus. Is that crazy? $1 million bonus. Can you imagine one day you making $1 million in one pay cycle? Wow, wow, wow. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. If you believe it, you will achieve it. SMD is just the beginning. Never, ever, ever mistake the beginning for the end. I want you to write that down. Never mistake the beginning for the end. Never mistake the beginning for the end. We are just getting started. We are just getting started. We just got started. This is the new Zoom era. We're just getting started. You with me? All right, next slide. Hey, a lot of people ask me, how'd you become a millionaire in your 20s? How did you start making $1 million a year in my 20s? It's very simple. If you want to make $1 million a year, you help 10 people make a 6-figure income, and you're going to make a 7-figure income. That's how it works. If you help 10 people make $100,000 a year, you'll make $1 million a year. I remember when I was 25 years old, I got my $1 million ring. People are coming up to me. Can I have your autograph? Can you sign my book? Can I take a picture with you? I said, why? They're like, because you're a millionaire. I go, but I'm only 25 years old. All I did was I helped 10 people make 100,000. So now I made $1 million. That's the business plan. You could do that the next 5 years. You help 10 people make $1 million a year, you're making 10 million a year. You help 10 people make 7 figures, you're going to make 8 figures. You help 10 people make 6 figures, you make 7 figures. We have an exact plan on how to do it. Let me ask you a question. What is your exact plan at your job to make $1 million a year? Crickets. I don't hear anything, right? So there is no plan. Here, we have an exact plan on how to make $1 million a year. And if I can do it, if Dan Charlier can do it, you can do it. Next slide. Hey, these are my board of directors in Pinnacle. Sandra and I, Daniel Linda Fambo, they're about to cross 2 million a year. Juana Veronica Jaime, Levi Nisamboni, Dr. Martin and Adeline Quende just hit it a couple days ago. Mario and Lisa Bayona are going to do it this month or next month. They're at 9 something right now. Peter and Leilani Lee are this close. Paul and Stephanie Njoku are this close. We're going to have 8 millionaires by the end of next month in Pinnacle. Isn't that crazy? 12 months ago, we had 1. 12 months later, we have almost 8 now. Next year, we're going to have 20 millionaires. And if you don't believe me, just watch. It's going to happen. But you could do the same thing. You got to just start thinking bigger. You got to start thinking bigger. Next slide. So this is my goal for 2021. This is my goal for 2021. If I help 10 people make $1 million a year, I make 10 million a year. That's it. Very simple. If you help 10 people make 6 figures, you make 7 figures. You help 10 people make 100,000 a year, you make $1 million a year. You're going to ask me, how'd you make 10 million? I just helped 10 people make $1 million. You help 10 people make $1 million, you make 10 million. You help 10 people make 7 figures, you make 8 figures. Isn't it awesome that we have the game plan on how to do that? How big are you thinking? I want you thinking bigger. I want you to have stretch marks on your brain. You're thinking so big. All right. All right. Next slide. So this is our Executive Leadership Council. We have about 30 people. You see 99% of them are couples. All these people, the brokest person on here makes $400,000 a year. You have to make 400,000 a year or more to be a part of this executive leadership council. And I challenged every single one of them to get their $1 million ring by next year. And I know for a fact that's going to happen. Every single one of them get their $1 million ring by next year. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right. I love that we're like the United Nations. Different backgrounds, different genders, different religions, different nationalities, different walks of life. Awesome. I love our company, WFG. Anybody can do it. Next slide. The Zoom era. The Zoom era. All right. Next slide. I'm almost done. You guys are going to ask me some questions at the end. But real quick, I love this new era. By the way, I couldn't even spell Zoom 8 months ago. I didn't even know what Zoom was 8 months ago. I am not a technology guy. I'm not kidding. 9 months ago, someone said, hey, let's do a Zoom appointment. I said, what's that? Now I love Zoom. I'm on Zoom all day long. Zoom is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. The other day, I was on Zoom. I was in California. One of my guys was in Maryland, and the prospect was in Nigeria on Zoom. Isn't that crazy? Awesome. Next slide. I was just in Cabo, Mexico, a couple weeks ago for my wife's birthday, and we were on Zoom. It was me and Zach Rance and Mario Bayona and Rob Day. We were zooming and booming on the beach, beachfront villa, on the ocean, on the pool, in the pool, on Zoom. Is that cool? Man, that's cool. I love this new era. Next slide. All right. Benefits of Zoom. Benefits of Zoom. All right, next slide. So, you got to make sure you bring the Zoom call etiquette, though. You can't be sleeping on Zoom. You can't be eating with your mouth open on Zoom. All right, you got to make sure you bring the Zoom etiquette. We know that, right? All right, next slide. There's no better time to start working towards your dreams than right now. This is the time. Never mistake the beginning for the end. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. This is a whole new era. Whatever you did before, that was the past. Hit the refresh button. Hit the restart button. We're starting over, baby. We're starting over. Zoom era. Next slide. So the dream is real. Imagine making 500,000 and then 600,000, then 800,000, then 600,000, 1.5 million in 2 months, 2 million in 3 months, 2.6 million in 4 months. It's not a pandemic, it's a paydemic. You heard me? It's not a pandemic, it's a paydemic. That's what I'm talking about. The dream is real, but the hustle is sold separately. You got me? The dream is real, but the hustle is sold separately. Next slide. All right. By the way, can you imagine every Tuesday and every Friday waking up? By the way, this was yesterday's cycle, 101,000. While I was in Florida on the beach, look at these cycles. Aren't these some sexy cycles? These are some juicy cycles, man. This is your future. Look at my guys getting paid 30, 40, 50, 70 grand, 50 grand, 80 grand, 100 grand. Wow. Remember how I started? Now 100,000 in one cycle? What? Join and don't quit, baby. Join and don't quit. Eventually, you're going to figure it out. Eventually, you're going to learn how to make some calls. Eventually, you're going to learn how to use Zoom. Eventually, you're going to learn how to recruit. That's your future. Every Tuesday, every Friday, every Tuesday, every Friday, every Tuesday, every Friday, every Tuesday, every Friday. The dream is real. The hustle is sold separately. I love when my team makes big money. That's what I get more excited about. It's not about me. It's about my team. Man. All right. Next slide. All right. That was us in Cabo for my wife's 33rd birthday a couple weeks ago on a yacht. Whoa. On a yacht, making it happen. All right. Next slide. The dream is real. The dream is real. I'm going to tell you this quick story. I'm almost done. So this is my buddy, Zach Rance. Right here. I don't know if you guys see him with the blue shirt. That's my buddy, Zach Rance. He played football at San Jose State. I played football at San Jose State. He was the captain of the defense. I was the captain of the offense. Okay. So Zach Rance recruited this lady named Sandra Soto. And Sandra Soto did 20 recruits and 20 sales in her first month in the business. And he introduced her to me. She said, hey, Sandra needs help with illustrations. Can you help her with illustrations? I go, yes, Zach, I'd be willing to help Sandra with illustrations. Sandra Soto is now Sandra Olson. And Sandra's my wife, she says, honey, you still never taught me illustrations, right? But anyways, that's another story. But here's the deal. So I stole Sandra from Zach, and then Jasmine, Zach's wife, Jasmine, he stole Jasmine from Eric Carter, because Jasmine was in Eric Carter's base shop. He stole her, married her. I stole Sandra from him. So taprooting works is my point. You guys get it, right? You got to keep it in-house. If you're single, you got to keep it in synergy. Keep it in synergy, okay? That's the rule, all right? But anyways, that's kind of a funny story. All right, next slide. All right, so 3 progressions of leadership. Lead yourself, lead others, lead leaders. That's what you got to do. Lead yourself, lead others, lead leaders. Lead yourself, lead others, lead leaders. How are you going to lead others if you can't lead yourself? How are you going to lead leaders if you can't lead others? Okay, those are 3 progressions of leadership. Next slide, almost done. All right, leadership development. What does that mean? What does leadership development mean? You recruit them, you train them, you educate them, you coach them, you build them, you mentor them, you teach them, you develop them, you help them, and then you'll transform their life. But they got to meet you halfway. If they meet you halfway, you're going to take them to the top of this company. That's how we build and develop leaders. Okay, next slide. Do one thing every day that scares you. Those small things that make us uncomfortable help us build courage to do the work we do. Simple as that. Remember, everything you want in your life is on the other side of I don't feel like it. Next slide. Mental toughness is doing the right thing for the team when it's not the best thing for you. That's the deal. Team before me. That's what I know Dan Charlier believes in. That's what I know Paul Ireton believes in. That's why they're great leaders. Okay, next slide. All right. If my favorite characteristic, my biggest strength is mental toughness, these are my 3 favorite books on mental toughness, because leaders are readers. Leaders are readers. All right. 177 mental toughness secrets to the world class, rhinoceros success, and emotional intelligence. Those are my favorite books on mental toughness. Next slide. All right. My favorite affirmation, I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me. Not some things, all things. I want to let you know, you can do all things. You can do all things. It says in the Bible, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me. I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm fearful. No. You can do all things. You understand? You can do all things. You know, in the Bible, it says, fear not 365 times. And you know, there's 365 days in a year. That's not a coincidence. Fear not, fear not. You can do all things. All right, getting fired up. All right. Hey, who's going to qualify for Hawaii? Anybody going to qualify for Hawaii and Synergy? All right. Hey, I want to see you in Hawaii. That's where we get to know each other. Me and Jay Gutierrez, Paul Ireton, Dan Charlier, Christopher Schleiman, Comfort, hanging out in Hawaii, having a blast. Nikki Cannon, that's what I'm talking about. Luis Haig, Steve Haig in Hawaii, hanging out, getting to know each other. You got to qualify for Hawaii. Aloha, mahalo. I'll see you in Hawaii. All right, next slide. So this is my vision. What's your vision? As I'm saying my vision, what is your vision? Here's my pinnacle vision. We're going to have 250,000 licensed agents across all of North America, take over the United States and Canada and Puerto Rico. We're going to create 1,000 new millionaires in our organization. We're going to help 10 million families achieve financial independence as our clients through our products and services. And we will become the #1 leadership financial company in the world. Don't believe me? Just watch. And here's the deal. We're all a part of WFG. So it's not Pinnacle versus Synergy. We're all WFG. But that's my vision. That's my vision. I say it every day. Like Dan Charlier said, I believe in my vision, because you got to believe in your vision before anybody else believes in your vision. That's how it works. So what's your vision? My team can recite our vision, and you got to do the same thing. So thank you for having me today. I appreciate you. I love this team. Man, I know the best of your life will be the rest of your life. You're just getting started. Thanks for having me. I'm going to pass it over back to Dan Charlier. Thank you, guys.
First of all, I want to tell you, man, you threw so much fire in the last hour and 45 minutes, man. You just lit the room up. I love to see your passion. And I tell you, it's a long time since I felt that way when you yelled out, "Isn't that your job?" Jeez Louise, that's a hell of a crusade. That's a hell of a crusade story. Isn't that your job? Isn't that your job? But when you think about it, it's so freaking true, right? And one of the things that I got to tell you, man, it's like, I love to see, one, you could tell that it exudes from you. Like, this is your sport. Just like baseball. I mean, just not baseball, but just like football was your deal at one point, you could totally tell that you absolutely love what you're doing, right? And a lot of times people say, "Well, Eric, what's Eric doing?" And I probably one of the reasons why I always speak very highly of you is because the one thing that no one can take away from you, man, is you freaking work, dude. Like, no matter what people say, you freaking work. And one of the things that one of my leaders, one of my top leaders in the military told me a long time ago, he said, Charlier, they cannot take a strong work ethic away from you. And you have that. And I want to tell you how much we appreciate that. And then you poured your heart out on this call and you gave us some gems. Let me tell you guys, Eric doesn't let a lot of people in and as far as information on what he's doing. And I'm so excited that you shared not only the context and the content of your message. And man, you're an incredible storyteller, man. You just like your stories, you take us through a journey. So I'm going to open it up because I know the field cabinet, they've got some specific questions for you. So we'll start off with Schleiman. I know Schleiman's got some questions. Paul Ironton's got some questions. Louise Haig, Steve. So let's start off with the field cabinet. Go ahead, Schleiman.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that, man.
Sorry about that. Hey, Eric, unbelievable. Thanks so much. Like, legit, that was not a convention speech. You legit poured it out like real great content. And like, I'm inside. Michelle and I were listening together, and it's like, I just tell you what, I appreciate you. I ain't hating on you, bro. You started after us. You blew by, and you inspire me like you can't believe. I got a bunch of questions, but I'm going to sort of dial it in on one. There's something that I've noticed that's really, really unique about you and your leadership. And somehow you keep your leaders focused from goal to goal. It's like promotion to promotion to promotion, diamond to diamond to diamond. There never seems to be like a plateau where a guy hits something and just sort of chills. How is it that you keep your guys pushing for that next thing constantly without sort of resting on their laurels a bit, which seems more natural outside of your hierarchy?
I appreciate that, Christopher. Thank you. And, it's great being in business with you all these years, man. For
Amen,
sure.
brother.
You're one of the best here. So I would say, number one is the speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack. So I'm never, ever like I feel grateful and I feel blessed, but I'm not satisfied because this business is unlimited. This business is unlimited. So even though I'm feeling grateful and I'm feeling blessed, I'm like, man, we got so much more to do. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So the speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack. If you're always focused on your next goal, your team's going to follow suit. So that'd be number one. Number two, we run the reward punishment system, throughout our hierarchy where we say, hey, go knock out your next diamond and then go take your spouse to Cabo for the weekend and then rejuvenate, refresh, write out your goals, and then go back and get to work and then go hit executive marketing director and then go take your your spouse to Miami for the weekend, write your goals, come back. You know what I mean? So just the reward punishment system, that really works. Number two. Number three, we have a competitive environment. We have a really competitive environment. We're not combative, but we are competitive. We collaborate. We're always talking about who's next, who's next, who's next, who's next. So just like your field cabinet is a big deal in Synergy, we have our board of directors in Pinnacle, and you got to be $1 million earner just to be on the board of directors in Pinnacle. So everyone's fighting to be a part of that board of directors, and that's a big deal in our organization. So that would be the couple things that I would say. And we do a lot of strategy sessions, and we talk about what's next. And, you know, we recognize you and we're excited for what you've done, but we're like, man, this is just the beginning. We're just getting started. This is unlimited. Let's think bigger. And because we believe in power couples, we get both spouses on the same page, and you know, usually the spouse kind of pushes them a little bit, and that works too. So that's what I would say, Christopher.
I appreciate that. And when you say this is just the beginning, I actually believe you.
Yeah.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, who's next? Jump in, you guys, if you have any questions.
Hey, Eric, it's Steve Haig. Great to see you. Thank you for your message today.
Steve? How's it going,
Awesome
man?
job with everything, man. I mean, you just laid it out, and I'm just so grateful that you took the time out, you know, with everybody here. And you know, one of my biggest questions that I have, and I think a lot of people, you know, a lot of us were at different stages in business today, knowing where we're at right now. Like if you're meeting with a brand new person that just you onboarded, they're on the team, what is the biggest thing that you do? You always talk about big results, take big decisions and big commitment. How do you actually gauge and drive that commitment and for that brand new person? Like, what does that conversation look like?
Yep, that's a really good question, Steve. I'm glad you brought that up. I would say, you know, right off the bat, I would get to know them, and I would say, tell me your story. Because you don't want to just ask closed-end questions. You want to ask open-ended questions. You ask open-ended questions like, "What are you into?" and you know, "What motivates you?" and you know, "Tell me your story and let me get to know you a little bit." And you really start asking open-ended questions to get to know them, to try to connect with them. So that'd be like the first 5 to 10 minutes. Get to know them. Tell them, ask their story, and then I would say things like, what are you the most proud of that you've accomplished in your life? You know, and what did that take to get there, and things like that. And so then they would tell me, and I would say, you know, what if you could make as much money as you had dreamed of, how much money would you like to make? What kind of house would you like to live in? What kind of car would you like to drive? What drives you? What is your why? You know, maybe you want to retire your parents or retire your spouse or put your kids in private schools. And I just start getting their goals and getting their dreams. And you know, I really start asking them questions, because the number one thing people love talking about is themselves. You know, so if you can get people talking about themselves and their goals and their dreams and their why, and you start writing it all down and go, great, when is your job going to allow you to accomplish that dream life? Never. Okay, great. Well, obviously, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Luckily, in this business, you can accomplish all those things we just talked about. So now you know it's possible, but let me tell you what's required. Hey, we got to get you off to a fast start. We got to get you your 330 this month. We got to get you licensed right away. You got to do your grand opening. You got to do your 10 appointments. We got to make it happen. We expect you to be MD within 3 months. And you start telling them what they need to do. Now you know it's possible. Let me tell you what's required. So they're telling you their goals. They're telling you their dreams. They're telling you what they want to accomplish. They're giving you all this stuff. And you go, okay, I have the vehicle to get you to where you want to go. You want to go slow or you want to go fast? I want to go fast. All right, well, here's what you need to do. And then you give them a list. I always do, here's the top 10 things you need to do in the next 30 days. Here's the top 10 things you need to do in the next 30 days. You know, and then I challenge them, you know, and that's what I do up front. And, you know, again, because you're asking them a lot of good questions, open-ended questions, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. So you're caring about them, but you're also challenging them at the same time. You know, so that's what I do, Steve, and it works.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Yep.
Hey, what's up, Eric?
Hey,
hear me?
how's it going? What's up, Paul?
Hey, what's up, brother? Hey,
How's it
good to
going?
see you, man.
Where
I
you at,
remember
man? I
I'm
like
at my Sprinter. Yeah.
Oh,
So-
styling and
Nah.
profiling. I like that. All right.
Hey,
That's
I
what's up.
remember just not that long ago speaking at your base shop meeting at
Yeah.
what Excalibur or something like that. And
You did a great
just-
job. You did a great
Yeah,
job, man. And by the way, your
such a-
brother Nathan Ireton killed it on one of my meetings a couple months ago too. Pinnacle TV. He did amazing. So you guys are
we all watched
family
it, man.
business.
We were on it with him.
family
So-
business, brother. Family business. I love it. Yeah.
That's it, man. I got a couple of questions for you. At
I
this
see your
point,
stud right here, Jeff Brookshire too. I see your EVC right here. I love it. That guy's a stud too. That guy's a stud too, man. You got a great team. And there's your wife, Miriam, too. Man, you're doing awesome, brother. All right, go ahead.
yeah, just at this point in your career, what's your most dominant thought? Well, actually, if we can answer that both ways. What was your most dominant thought when you were getting started that caused you to do 60 wide in 6 months? And then what's your dominant thought today? And that would probably be your obsession too. So I mean, the second question is what do you obsess about? But what would that be back when you got started, and what is it today?
That's a good question, Paul. I appreciate that. So when I started, remember, I gave up everything. I quit the football team. I dropped out of college. I gave up my potential chance of playing the NFL. I broke up with my ex. I just went crazy, and I just literally dropped everything in my life and went all in. So because of that, I had a lot of haters. So I had my prove wrong list. I need to prove these 5 people wrong. You know, I had my list like every single day. That just motivated me, like underdog mentality, chip on my shoulder. I'm going to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to turn my haters into my motivators. And that was really like my driving force, you know, and that was kind of negative energy, but it worked at that point because I was young and I just wanted to prove everybody wrong. And then I finally got to a point after I had some success a couple years later, then I had my prove right list. I had like, here's my 5 people that actually did believe in me, that did stick with me, that I wanted to prove right. So I'd recommend everybody on here have their prove wrong list, and have their prove right list. And the prove right list is more of a positive thing. However, I think it's important to have both. It's important to have both. You have a crusade, you have an enemy. You have a prove wrong list, you have a prove right list. So that was like my dominant thought. You know, they don't even know. Like when I got my license, because it took me a long time to get my license. When I finally got my license, I go, the state of California has no idea who they just gave a license to. Like I was so fired up when I got my license, you know what I mean? So that was just my prove wrong list. You know, that was my dominant thought back then. And it was also nonstop to the top. That's what I told myself every day, nonstop to the top, nonstop to the top, nonstop to the top. And that's why I got to the top pretty fast. Now, my dominant thought is my favorite affirmation that I mentioned earlier. I run a 9-figure per year business, which is 100 million a year more. I make an 8-figure income, which is 10 million a year more, and I develop 7-figure earners. And because I'm a man of my word, when I say something, I have to do it. Like I don't just throw BS out in the air. Like I say it and I purposefully say it so that I have to do it. Because like right after I say something, I go, oh shoot, I got to do it now. I better put in the work. I better put in the time. I better put in the energy. I better put in the effort because now I got to do it. And I have these goals before I'm 40 years old, which is 14 months, 9-figure business, 8-figure income, 7-figure earners. Boom, 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 boom. So that is my dominant thought right now. And I love Raja Dhaliwal. He's my running mate. You know, I'm beating him in personal base and super base, but he's beating me by a lot in the super team. So my dominant thought is, even though I love Raja, I want to beat him in the super team too. You know what I mean? So I have my running mate. And by the way, it's a good competition. It's healthy. I love him. He's a stud, but I also want to beat him. You know what I mean? So that's another dominant thought, but he makes me better. Like you should have someone that makes you better. Raja Dhaliwal makes me better. He really does. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm always thinking like, all right, how can I make things easier, simpler, faster? That's another dominant thought right now is how do I make things simpler, faster, better? This new Zoom era, should we have a new Zoom system in the Zoom era? Like I'm always thinking about stuff like that. How do I get my people paid faster? How do I get people to the top faster? Daniel and Linda Fambo are about to hit their $2 million ring. Daniel Fambo's been full-time 2 years. He's going to get his $2 million ring next month. He's been full-time 2 years. Linda, his wife's been full-time 1 year. they've been coded 3 years. Like, this is crazy. This new era, you've never seen something like this. Like Christopher said, we are just getting started. So Paul, that's what I would say. Those are some of my dominant thoughts. That's a great question, by the way.
Thank you, brother.
Yep. Thank you,
Appreciate
man. Give me a ride in that Sprinter one of these days, my friend.
Oh yeah, I'm coming, man.
All right. All right. I like it. Hey,
Hey,
Louise.
Eric.
How
Yeah,
are you?
how are you, Eric?
Awesome. Good to see you.
Man, you look so fabulous. I'm like so excited that you
Trying to
did
keep
that.
up with you guys. Trying to keep up with
Hey.
you guys here, you know?
I mean, unbelievable, because I've known you from the
Yep. You
You're muted,
you
Louise.
muted yourself, Luis.
Whoop.
You muted. All right,
Okay,
there we
well,
go.
I'm
There we go.
telling you that you look fabulous. Your family's amazing. Your
Thank you.
energy's powerful. So
Appreciate
coachability is the question. We're
Okay.
grabbing new people into the team. We're on Zooms across the nation. And, you know, it's a whole new world for them. What's the key to helping the newest person become coachable and going to meetings and all that thing? And what about the people that are not where they're at and they're losing faith because they don't understand this, but you love them, you want them to win? What do you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, this is a new era. Like, there's, if I went over, like, here's the 20 positives of Zoom, and then there's probably 1 or 2, you know, negatives that people are like, oh, I'm not used to this, and this is different, and this is weird, and blah, 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 blah. But again, if you do not adapt to the environment, you're going to be out of business. So that's why we all have to adapt. We can't panic. We got to pivot. We have to adapt to this environment. This is not like a temporary thing. Like, I really believe that. This is not temporary. This is the new way of doing business. So, you know, I would say a couple things. You know, like I talk about how coachable I am to Rich Stolley. So then my team, you know, wants to be coachable to me. I talk about how loyal I am to Rich Stolley, how loyal I am to Greg Kapp, how coachable I am. So then, you know, so then they want to be coachable to me. And I know that you and your son, Steve, have been so coachable and loyal to Dan all these years, which is awesome. And so, so if you talk about coachability, I think you'll get coachability. If you talk about loyalty, I think you'll get more loyalty. And then not only talk about it, but actually show it and prove it. So that's one thing. Another thing is to go back to Steve's question of, like, get their goals and get their dreams and get, like, really what they want to do. And then say, okay, now that I know what you want to do, here's what you need to do in order to accomplish all these things that you want to do. You know, and so I'd go back to that. Like, you got to be coachable. You got to run the system. You got to be on Zoom. And just like what I mentioned earlier, like, this is my sport. And when I played football, if I missed practice, I wouldn't be able to play in the game. So our trainings, these trainings we're doing today and BPMs and all the trainings we do, that's practice. And if you miss practice, you're not going to be able to play. So, you know, and just like a sport. So this is my sport. You can't miss practice. So you got to let people know, you got to show up to blow up. This is our sport. You got to show up to blow up. And then I would be using leverage as well. And another thing, Luis, I would do something like, I'm going to be promoting 3 more SMDs in the next 6 months. And here's the 10 characteristics I'm looking for in these next 3 SMDs. You know, and then you put it out there. And then obviously one of them is coachability. And one of them is they got to show up to all the trainings, you know, and you say, hey, if you don't want to do that, no problem. You're not going to be an SMD. You know, like, I'll still love you from a distance, but you're not going to be an SMD. I'm looking for serious people, because casual people become casualties in business. You know, I just read something yesterday and they said, if your business is not on the internet, if your business, you're not using technology, you're going to be out of business in the next 3 years. And I believe that. And you guys know Ed Milet's been talking about this for 3 years. And it's all true now. Like, it's all real. It's crazy. You know, so yeah, we got to adapt to this environment. We got to be coachable. And those that's what I would say, Luis.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, Eric, thanks a lot, brother. I appreciate you. And have fun out there in Florida, man. We appreciate you. Tell Sandra we said thank you.
I appreciate you and Sophia very much. Thanks for having me. And I'm looking at a bunch of $1 million earners right here. Dan Charlier is going to go to 2 million. Christopher Slayman, Jeff Brookshire, Jing Ho, Steve Haig, Paul Ireton, Nicole Cannon, Nathan Ireton, Louise Haig, Miriam, Shannon, Myra, Laura, Denise. I'm looking at a bunch of $1 million earners, no doubt in my mind. So It was an honor to speak to your team. I love this team, and nonstop to the top. We're all one team. We're all WFG. Let's go do it big. The best is yet to come. We are just getting started. Never mistake the beginning for the end. We are just getting started. Thank you for having me, Dan. Love you, man. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. All right. All right. All right. All right, you guys. Wasn't that an awesome call? I told you, you guys, I'm telling you, you know, Eric and I, about a week ago, we got on a call together and we talked through details of exactly the training I wanted him to cover and some questions that he had for me as we were going through the training. And then I'm closing his Next Level Growth Academy. I believe in 2 weeks, I'm closing his, and we were talking through my training. But you got a chance. This is the last class for the Next Level Growth Academy. And I got to tell you, Elite Circle is going to be amazing. The next Level Growth Academy, you guys, is going to be amazing. And the Growth Academy is going to be amazing. But most of you, all of you, I'm sure you took some copious notes. You had some specific content that he went over on some different strategies of getting to SMD. Asking yourself, do you want to be a strong SMD or you want to be a small SMD? And all those little things of having that long-term vision as a leader for your team, but also having some personal goals for yourself. So I think there was a lot of gems that was dropped on this call right here, and it was amazing. And we have the rest of November and December to see who's going to graduate. That's going to be exciting. We've got the Wealth Bowl coming up in December, which the SMDs got together right before the Next Level Growth Academy to strategize for the Wealth Bowl. The Wealth Bowl is going to be amazing, the 4th and the 5th. We got the kickoff meeting in January. The kickoff meeting is going to be amazing. I spoke to Marlette 2 days ago, and we are going to do an SMD meeting with the entire hierarchy. That means that Jeff Levitan's hierarchy, Jeff Levitan, Haro, myself, and I'm missing one more name. It's like 4 or 5 of us. Jamie's going to be on there, and we're going to be doing a big SMD meeting. And then we're going to follow off. We're going to do a big BPM. Can you imagine? We're going to do a big BPM on Zoom. We're strategizing on it right now where you're going to have Marlette, you're going to have myself, you're going to have Haro, you're going to have Jamie. Oh, it's going to be off the freaking chain. Now, here's what that means. It's November now. We're in the second week of November before Thanksgiving next week. You got to gain clarity. You got to gain clarity of your plan. You got to get in the game. You are in the Next Level Growth Academy. Now, one of the things that I'll tell you is that when momentum is the key, right? So you got to gain momentum right now. A lot of you have a lot of momentum. A lot of you have shifts. We're strategizing for 2021. I'm not going to tell you all the different things that are going on, but you want to position yourself right now to win, right? How do I create momentum? You got to get to double-digit recruiting. You got to get to 10. Go pick up 3, 4 directs. Simplify what you've heard. Simplify what you heard. Said, hey, I got to take a massive immediate action. That means that I got to go pick up 2 to 3 directs. I got to get in double-digit recruiting, stay in double-digit recruiting, and we are going to continue providing this kind of content for you at every level. That means if you're training an associate, we're going to give you content that's pertinent to where you at to take you to the next level. If you're a senior associate to MD, we're going to give you that platform to take you to the next level. If you're an SMD, we're going to give you that information to take you to the next level, all the way up to EMD, EVC, SEVC, all the way up the food chain, which is going to be really, really, really exciting. Now, some of you on this call, you're close to graduating, right? You're close to graduating. Some of you right now, you got to make a move for the end of November and December, right? So you can graduate. We're talking about the resort. I met with Christopher and Nikki the other day. Oh my God, for the graduation. I'm not even going to tell you who's going to be there at the graduation. It's going to be freaking amazing. We're going to have a freaking blast. For those of you that lean into the tape, November and December, and you actually graduate the Next Level Growth Academy, man, it's gonna be amazing. I think all the leaders did a great job. Olson did a really, really great job. We're gonna bring Olson back the second quarter of 2021 to do a more specific training with the leadership, which is gonna be freaking amazing. And you want to position yourself because this thing is moving. I told you guys 2-3 months ago, this thing is moving, right? You want to get on board or you're going to get left behind, but we're not going to let you get left behind. We're going to keep encouraging you. We're going to keep encouraging you. We're going to keep putting people that are winning around you. And I want you to remember this. Not everyone is losing. You got to keep some blinders on right now, because you've got all this stuff with the news and all the people around you and what's going on around the world and the vaccines and all these different things that are going on. You got to put the blinders on. You got to put the blinders on right now. If you feel good, you do good. You got to make sure that you're investing in yourself. That means that you got to work out, right? You got to work out, drink some water, read some good books, listen to some audios, right? Focus on your business. You cannot worry about the things you can't control. You can't become a conspiracy theorist right now, right? You got to get in the game, get in the hunt. Here's what I know. Everything always works out. Everything always works out. One way or the other, everything always works out. There are people that are always looking for what's wrong, and there are people that's always looking for what's right. And surround yourself with positive people, you guys. And we're going to tee it up. We're going to do something great. Synergy Financial, man, we are going to do something amazing in 2021. So I'm excited. I'm going to close it out because I think we got enough content today. And the delivery was freaking amazing and it was fun. And I wanted to leave on that note. And we're going to be watching the bulletin. We're going to be watching the bulletin. And the team's doing a great job showing us exactly who's on point to graduate. And a lot of you guys are making aggressive moves right now. We appreciate you guys and the leadership team. We appreciate you guys. So see you guys at the top, and we're going to close this out. All right.